Hi, let's discuss the topic confusion or surprises. The surprising thing in the world of today is that those on the left, those on the path of religion, particularly in the Western Hemisphere, they claim that they are following Jesus, Christianity. They say they are following Jesus. But I can't see how what is happening in Christianity can be related to Jesus, Jesus the Christ. But Jesus the Christ clearly stated that he was on the narrow way. He was on the narrow way. Jesus never made a mistake about it, never gave any illusion about that. He was on the narrow way. And he talked about the superhuman. He talked about, the Christians talk about the resurrection of Jesus and the transfiguration of Jesus. Transfiguration and resurrection, or self-transfiguration and self-resurrection, or self-emancipation, self-elevation. These things are within you, here and now. It's not only about Jesus. Jesus demonstrated it and said, this is what I can do. So take your cross, pick up your cross and follow me. So follow me, practice these things that I practice. Practice self-transfiguration, practice self-resurrection, practice self-elevation, practice self-ascendance. But Christians are talking about Jesus Christ. They made Jesus into a man who will forgive them their sins. How can Jesus forgive your sins? He didn't say he forgives sins. He didn't say you should go and be talking about sins. You should go into sin and be talking about sin. Jesus didn't say so. He said, follow me. You practice these things I practice. Practice these things I've taught. And that's very clear. Be simple. Be honest. Be pure. Be of integrity. Have integrity. And do good things. Be fine. Be perfect. As the Father in heaven is perfect. That's what he said. And the Father in heaven is the superhuman that he himself knew and he himself practiced. That is the Christ. The Christ is the superhuman. But at the end of the day, people are talking about Jesus and talking about prayer. Everybody in Nigeria is a sinner. If you don't have a sin to commit, you can look for where you see sin to commit so that Jesus will forgive you. And the sin is not even forgiven. Nobody is watching after this is happening. Everybody is hypnotized. They behave like similar people, and people are just behaving like crazy people. So Jesus didn't say, I will forgive you sin. Jesus didn't say, I'm a forgiver of sin. He never said so. He never taught that. He said, be self-transfigured. Transfigure from the human through the meta-human to this superhuman. That's what Jesus taught. That's what the Christ means. You must move from the human through the meta-human to the superhuman. When you become superhuman, everything is clear. You become all-knowing. That's what he taught. But now, Christians, pastors, every day I watch them and I laugh. Sometimes I laugh, my ribs ache. I laugh because how will pastors be talking about things that are not even part of what Jesus taught? But they claim to be following Jesus. And that's wrong. Jesus was a narrow way, which is what I call the hard way. And that hard way alone can lead you to the divine, to that powerful place, that fine place, that superhuman place, super God place, super ancestor place, super personality place, super person, superman, super this. That's where you'll be led into. That super place. And that super place is the place of liberation. And if all human beings can get there, the world will be so wonderful. Nobody will even want to die. Of course, you can decide when to die. You don't just die because it's time to die. So the confusion, the surprise in the world is that people are doing this. The philosophers are doing it. The theologians are doing it. Everybody seems confused. And that is the issue. So if you stand on the narrow way, if you sit in the narrow way, if you go into the narrow way, you see everybody confused. Even when you go to do a job, I was a magistrate. People just expect you that once you become a magistrate, you are a magistrate, then you should start behaving like them. They make suggestions and as if money is so important. So you should abandon the narrow way where you are. You abandon the super personality way where you are, and then come to do bribery because that will give you money. Silly. People are so stupid when they think that. Because the man who knows himself will not tell a lie once in 10 years. Not to talk of taking bribe. When you are supposed to do the right thing, you know what to do, they are taking bribe. So people assume that when you bring money and come and bring 10 million naira and come and place it on the table now, that a good man will immediately go that way. No, that's not true. Because if you are in the narrow way, Jesus didn't do that. Why should you do that? And that is the issue. So the surprises and the confusion, the thing that baffle me is these things that people are doing. And I tell you, it's really wonderful that you can change and easily change and be a child and do these things, and the world will be perfect. Everything will be fine. I thank you very much for listening.